Came Rain Bear. Customer reviews. Lauren, 1 out of 5 stars. Haunted Bear. Reviewed in the United States on June 21st, 2021. I can see that I'm the first to leave a review on this product, so I'd like a moment to plead my case. I like to consider myself a sane, rational person, and if I hadn't experienced this for myself, I would definitely be one of the skeptics reading this Amazon review and rolling my eyes at the stupidity. Except, here, I am writing it. I'm not sure if there's a character limit on these reviews or not, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. My ex purchased this Came Rain Bear for me a little over a year ago. We weren't doing the best, but this bear was just an adorable gesture. I loved the little rain slicker that he came with. I suppose that's why he's called the Came Rain Bear, though I still chuckle at the intern who must have thought up the name at the last second before taking this to the online market. To save myself from giggling every time I spoke his name, I just called him Rainy. Even so, his stitching was excellent. The fur was some of the softest I had ever felt for a plush toy, and his size, about 2 feet tall, was just the perfect amount of bear for a good snuggle. At first, Rainy lived in my bedroom. He had a spot of honor amidst my mountain of pillows. He was a guardian during the day and a companion at night. That changed, though, when my bad luck streak seemed to be more than just bad luck. I guess it started when my mother passed away. Sorry if that seems a bit macabre, but it's just so uncanny. I had just shown off the bear to her that afternoon, and she didn't seem immediately taken with him like I was. That same night, she drove off the road. I'll spare you the details. Point is, I wanted to get rid of Rainy. I thought he was a bad omen. But my ex tried to convince me that he would be a comfort to me, a fluffy shoulder to cry on. It's not that I believed in bad juju, but I just couldn't look at Rainy without remembering my mom's tight-pressed lips and disapproving glare at me, Rainy, and my ex. A few days of convincing didn't sway me, but I didn't want to offend my ex, so after the funeral, I offered to get us some fast food. And I threw Rainy away at the drive-thru trash can. You know, the one they sometimes leave outside for drivers to reach right as you pull away from the window. No one would know, or even think to look in there. And I'd just say he got lost. That'd be it. First haunting happened that night. I still cringe writing that word, but I can't explain it otherwise. I couldn't sleep, and I was keeping my ex up, so I went to take a shower and clear my head. When I switched the bathroom light on, I jumped. Rainy was sitting on the toilet seat, holding my bath towel in his open arms. I immediately confronted my ex for the cruel prank, but he insisted that he hadn't touched him, nor even knew that I had thrown Rainy away. There was just no way Rainy could have gotten from that fast food trash can back to our apartment. I chalked it up to misremembering. I tried throwing him away again a few months later when things finally ended with me and my ex. Now, not only was he a reminder of my mom's final day, but of the man I never should have trusted to begin with. I just decided I wanted my face to be flesh-colored, not black and blue. I'm sorry if that's TMI. I just thought maybe heightened emotions are what trigger Rainy, and they were certainly heightened. I threw him out with all of my ex's stuff, packed up, and left. Breaking the lease was a bitch, but I didn't really have much of a choice. I moved far enough away that I felt safe, but close enough that I could still work in the city and be around what few friends I had left. I was unboxing some of my things when I found Rainy again. He was with some of my clothes. I'll be honest, that scared the shit out of me. I threw him out the window and had to catch my breath. Once I'd composed myself, I went outside and got him before some unsuspecting kid picked up this seemingly possessed toy. I googled the name, but nothing came up. It was like Rainey just appeared out of nowhere. It's a miracle I even found this listing on Amazon, and I certainly didn't find it that first night I was searching. Well, Rainey didn't like being thrown away for a second time, so as penance, I woke up to all 4 of my tires slashed. None of my new neighbors saw or heard anything, and yet there it was. The woman who helped me leave for the new place assured me that no one saw me leaving, and that she herself didn't know where I had ended up on purpose. I stuck Rainey in the deepest, furthest corner of my closet after that. I considered a priest and an exorcism before throwing him away again, but I just felt so stupid. I was already going through so much. Maybe I unconsciously packed him through a fit of tears. It's amazing the hoops we'll jump through to make something unnatural seem plausible. Rainey stayed in that closet no longer than a week. I remember I came home from a new job interview, and there was Rainey, sitting on the kitchen island with one of my steak knives in his lap. There was a crumpled piece of paper underneath him, and I remember in the shock of the moment, I didn't immediately smell that something was wrong. But boy, was it. I shoved Rainey off the counter and picked up the paper. I knew the writing on it was blood without having to guess. The paper said, "I want to live on your bed, not the closet." I was pretty freaked out, obviously, but I didn't scream until I found the remains of the cat. It was so sad. I knew that cat. That was the cat that belonged to the woman that so generously helped me. How was I going to make that phone call? How was I going to explain that I knew where Mittens was, but didn't know how she had gotten there or why she was... That's plenty dark for now. There's no rationalizing it away anymore. There was no sign of forced entry, nothing stolen, and nothing out of place except for Rainey and the cat. I put Rainey on the bed that night and I slept on the couch. Well, I looked up priests and exorcisms all night online. I kept checking on Rainey, but he didn't move. Not then, at least. I had to work, and I didn't exactly have anyone that I could rely on at that moment. I wasn't ready to explain that I was being haunted after having ghosted most of them for so long. So, I left Rainey on the bed, and I left. When I came home, he was exactly where I left him. I sent out a few emails for holy cleansings, and Rainey took over the bedroom. I was on the couch for the next week. I never did call that kind elderly woman. I just didn't have the heart to. I did, however, send her an anonymous package with Mitten's collar and a typed letter about the incident. At least I could offer her some closure. I'll skip over the details of the world's most awkward meeting with a Rena priest. He threw some holy water around the apartment, read a few verses from the Bible with a gusto that could rival a circus conductor, and offered to take Rainey off my hands. If Rainey was being watched and blessed, that should have been the end of it. But of course it wasn't. Or I wouldn't be here typing this ridiculous warning to other potential buyers. 3 days of getting sleep in my own bedroom. That's all I got. On the 4th morning, I woke up to Rainey sitting on a box I had yet to unpack, holding a pair of my underwear and watching me. Rainey looked different. His fur was less inviting and soft, his little rain slicker dirty and crusted in what I hoped was just mud, and his little paws were just as dirt-caked. The window in my bedroom was open just enough for the little demon bear to crawl through. I'm not crazy when I say that there were plushy paw prints leading from the window to the box. I screamed at him, begged him to tell me what he wanted from me. I was hysterical. I just threw him on the bed and ran out of that apartment. And I reached out to the priest again and asked him why he let Rainey out of his sight. He tried to lie to me and say that he still had Rainey, stashed him somewhere with a bunch of other haunted things like that supernatural couple from the Conjuring movies. I demanded to see a picture of him to prove it, but he refused. I wouldn't relent. So, eventually, he sent me a photo that looked like it came directly from some kind of shopping site. I begged him. I begged him for the source of the picture, and that I wouldn't wring his neck for lying to me if he had just shown me where he'd found that image. That's how I got this obscure listing that says it's from somewhere in China. I'm typing this from my phone in a motel room, still shaking. It's insane. It's impossible, but it's happened to me, and I don't want it to happen to you too. I've contacted the seller, but so far no luck. If you're worried about what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to go back to the apartment tomorrow and get some stuff and go stay with somebody willing to house a temporary couch surfer. I won't say who for obvious reasons. If you're a God-fearing person, I would appreciate some prayers. 0 out of 10. Would never recommend. Response from the vendor. Lauren, this is not a Camreen bear. This is a vintage camera-in nanny cam bear from the early 2000s. Do not go home. Please call the police immediately.